Welcome to Rapid Reviews Radio episode 24. And it's a little bit different this week.
Yeah, weird one this week.
It's a weird one, but I mean, hey, that's what's life if it's not full of variety. We have a guest coming, so we're going to start things off with You Got This, which...
Yeah,
but actually,
the guest will be joining us towards the end of the news stories.
Yep. But I did forget. I just rushed all over this because my brain is not in order yet. How was your week? How have you been?
It's been weird. I'm still obviously working from home during this isolation period, and to be honest with you, it's not too bad. I'm starting work earlier. I'm finishing work earlier. I'm then literally rolling off my kitchen table onto my sofa and watching Simpsons. Nice. So I can't complain.
Nice. I did also forget to introduce us.
You did, but I'm sure they know who we are by.
Yeah. I'm Kiley Wild, and I'm joined by Pete Beckett. So.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If I edit this will never sound like it was a miss.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it as is.
I was going to say, as mixed up as this intro has been, you'd have to edit probably for a couple hours.
Yeah, no thanks.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I am literally all over the place. Oh, see, you mess up my routine with one little thing, and I'm just like, ah!
Yeah, I know. It's completely thrown you off. How's your week been?
It's been weirdly active. As most know,
for you, that is strange.
Well, I was gonna say most know that I am two things. One, I own my own business that I run out of one part of my house. But that business, which is a printing company, has temporarily shut its doors.
Yep.
But I'm also a workaholic, so I've had to be creative because holy crap. So I have done so many DIY projects during this week. It is insane. I've power washed my house. I've taken down old drapery. I've cleaned walls. I built myself out a little book nook. And I am going to be painting this bomb shelter that I'm currently residing in. And that'll be this week. So it's weirdly active, even though my business is temporary shuttered.
Yeah, but that's a lot of other businesses at the moment, though. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And again, I want to say, and this is going to, bleed into You Got This anyway, but just the solidarity that I've seen between people. I mean, between small business owners, of course, we're in constant contact with each other because we supply each other with various things, and so we're talking and we're all supporting each other, and then just the whole idea, I mentioned this last week, but it just mystifies me that, as an entire world, globally speaking, we have just said, we're going to take care of everyone and, have put ourselves in isolation and stuff, like willingly. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And I do like seeing that.
Well, yeah, because everyone's more like you who wants to stay at home all the time.
I have to admit, man, it's primo for me.
Yeah, I bet you've been sitting there going, I'm well prepared for this situation.
Yeah, I was like,
I do this regularly.
I've been preparing for this my whole life.
Kind of like the zombie apocalypse.
Exactly. So
I did see a couple of GIFs online this week where it was like, this isn't the zombie apocalypse I wanted.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was talking to some people yesterday going, this is the best apocalypse ever because we have electricity, running water, and internet. I couldn't have asked for anything more.
Yeah, exactly. So long as we still got the internet and all that, it's not a problem.
I can get through anything.
Yeah, as long as I've still got utilities, I think we'll all be fine.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that does kind of bring us to our You Got This segment, which we are doing first this time, this go around. And of course, you know, we're all pretty much kind of stuck inside. We're not on our regular routine. And even if we're some of the few that still go somewhere to work or whatever, we're still having to practice the ever-present social distancing phrase.
Yeah.
Which...
Yeah, I had that yesterday when I decided to go out and do some shopping, and it was very weird actually running into a colleague of mine.
Oh gosh, how was that? Yeah.
And staying 2 meters away. Gosh. It was very strange.
Yes. Well, but that actually fits perfectly, because what I'm going to read... You Got This is our 2-minute segment that's never been 2 minutes. It's just a time for you to take out of your week and just think about yourself and just... I always say reflect, and I don't really mean reflect, because I mean project. Yeah. Look at the week going ahead, and just live in the moment. A little mindfulness segment.
Yeah, of course.
So a friend of mine, he is actually head of a few things, art councils and types of things over here in Belfast. And his name is Adam Turkington, and he's just a cool guy. He leads tours every Sunday. Yep. They're free tours, but they're around Belfast, and you can see we have a huge art community, and there's just beautiful artworks to be found around town. And so he's kind of a I don't want to say guru, but someone I look up to very much.
Okay.
And he posted last week a post that I just really connected with. So I thought I'd share it with the audience, which is this. I heard a report from Italy yesterday about how the people who are out for necessary stuff are all distancing really strictly, which is great. But then the reporter continued to talk about how everyone was so distant, looking down at the ground, disconnected, almost afraid of making eye contact. Mm-hmm. So here's a challenge for you. If you're out on your essential stuff and you're passing a stranger and you're keeping your distance, fight the urge to look at the ground. Look at people, smile at strangers, say hiya, or nice distancing, bro. We small actions of kindness and humanity beyond just staying at home will save us. One love.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, actually, that is quite important, because I did go out for a very long walk yesterday, where I did happen to run across a few people who were keeping their distance.
Yeah.
But a few of them were looking at the floor, admittedly. But actually, quite a lot of them, some of the cyclists I saw, and then some of the families that I saw, some of them, the kids didn't get out of the way, which is understandable. They don't really understand what's going on, do they? But, you know, I did actually see a lot of people all keeping their heads up, saying hello as they walked past, which was really nice.
That is really good. That's very good.
Seems to have brought out a bit more of the community in people, whilst also still, you know, keeping their distance and trying to maintain safe protocols. It's strange.
Yeah, I will say it's very strange. I'm still new to my neighborhood. So I haven't quite met a lot of people. I'm not really a social person anyway, but but when you live somewhere, you do get to know people.
Of course.
So my first 4 months or so living here, I took a walk here and there, didn't really pass that many people, never really, I don't know, I don't know. But since this has happened, our street is now busy with people walking, walking their kids, their dogs, their everything. And they're all keeping their, mandated 6 feet away from each other. But I have noticed, I'm like looking and acknowledging people that I probably would not have ever seen otherwise, because I'm out more now or outside my house. I haven't left my house or anything. Don't be crazy.
You're just now the crazy person that sits in the front garden saying hello to everyone as it walks past.
Yeah, I did.
Please give me attention, please.
I did wonder, like, how long till people start going, oh, that's that weird lady in that weird house. But yeah, it's very nice to. It is weird and ironic in the best way that this quote unquote social distancing has actually seemed to bring us closer together. Yeah. And I really like that. I just, I like to look for the positives in things while still being realistic. And that, of course, that's a pretty good positive. So,
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
It's brought out a lot more of the social aspect and the kind, generous nature of the humans in general. But hopefully we still maintain that after we come out of this very weird period of isolation and actually learn to be a bit better to each other afterwards.
I think that is a fabulous goal that I definitely think a lot of us will have been changed by this experience for the better, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So
I hope so.
I think so. And as we go forth in this week, this strange week that I do admit it is odd, but it's still so important to take some time out for yourself.
Yeah.
And just 2 minutes or more, whatever it takes, and just kind of do that. Think about that. When you see someone across the street, just like, I don't know, I know that we tend to be a little bit different culturally, but in the U.S., you look at someone and you nod, I think you can do that here. I think that's
You can, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, just give them a nod and just go about your day just to say, you're a human, I'm a human, we're in this together. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And remember, you got this, but more importantly, we got this.
Yeah, we as a human race have got this.
Exactly. Yep. Absolutely. But I think that will bring us to the news.
Okay, so it wouldn't be a week of news without talking about Animal Crossing, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes.
I'm going to put this out there for anyone who knows me. I've been sitting on the fence about this game. I'm now no longer on the fence. I'm probably not getting this game after everything I've seen.
Oh my goodness.
It's just... I love the fact that the Animal Crossing fans are like really happy with this game, but it's clogged my timeline.
Yeah.
Like on the Rapid Reviews Radio Twitter, on my personal one, it is everywhere. It is literally everywhere.
We even have a dedicated Discord channel.
And it's the only Discord channel I've ever muted. Look, I love you guys, but jeez, you are posting up a lot of stuff. Like I said, I'm happy for the Animal Crossing fans. Yes. I'm glad they're really happy with this, but I'm now become very... I know there's a thing, like, I can't remember the term, but it's when you see something so much that it just puts you off of, like, wanting to do anything, have anything to do with it.
Something fatigue. It's just...
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Viewer fatigue or
something like that. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm now no longer getting this game because I am very fatigued by social media on this one.
Yes.
Thanks, Twitter. No, but we'll talk some good news about Animal Crossing.
Yes.
So, we haven't got official sales figures, but it has been noted that it is now the record opening for Switch sales in Japan, beating Smash Brothers and Mario Kart.
I will say, just based on what we've seen this week, that's not a surprise by any means.
Yeah. Sorry, it also beat Pokemon as well.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, wow. So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
This may come up later, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Yep.
Do you think the current world events are adding to the success of Animal Crossing?
100%, because now copies are very, very hard.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think had this situation not been happening, there wouldn't have been as many people as there are. There would have still been a lot.
Yeah.
But I think because of people are needing, for the next 12 odd weeks, needing something to do, this is a real time sink game.
And
especially for those cheaters.
Well, that's kind of the thing that's kind of struck me. It's turned out to be quite a social game. I don't know if that's the way it was intended to be. But from what I can tell, it's a safe, oh god, I hate saying that it's safe, but it's a safer way to socialize with people, and I think that's a huge aspect to it. I think
so.
And also a huge aspect as to why I'm not playing it.
Yep, Kylie reverts back to being the introverted.
I'll be in my cave.
I don't want to play Animal Crossing. I don't want any friends.
It really is like that. I'll be in my cave playing Doom and killing demons.
Yeah, like the 2 games that came out on that day, you chose the one that was definitely better for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, definitely. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But again, I share your sentiments in that I'm very happy for the Animal Crossing fans. It looks like they got a good quality game, a good solid game, and have picked up new fans, which is great for Nintendo.
It's fantastic, but also it means that Nintendo Switch systems are now ridiculously overpriced because they're selling like crazy. The stocks are low, and eBay has now gone up to listing them to stupid money. The Animal Crossing Switch itself is now probably listed at about £600 to £700, or $800 to $900 US.
Yeah,
that's, it's gone up to absurd levels.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I mean, I was interested in maybe purchasing one of the new Switches that increase the battery life. I can't get that for love nor money now.
Yeah. My poor Switch, who I don't even think has played but 2 games in its life, is sitting here shiny.
That and the PS4 are so neglected.
I know, they really are.
PSVR as well, my goodness.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, I think I finally reached the point. After I paint my office this week, I'll be out of almost all my DIY projects. I think my next one will be hooking up the PSVR, and then
that could take a while.
Trying not to throw up while playing.
I mean, yeah, but it could also take a very long time to actually wire that in.
It might. It'll be interesting. I'll have to see.
Well, there's about 12 cables for it, apparently.
Yeah, it is. And to be fair, that is mostly why it's sitting here, cords and dangling, because it's like, and plus my TV's hung on the wall, and to get back there is but yeah.
Yeah.
But now I have all the time in the world, so.
Yes, you had all the time in the world anyway.
Yes, I did. Oh, there's this great quote I heard once, and it's a life lesson for me here on out. It's because I'm one of those people who say, I just don't have time. And then someone replied and said, you have the same time. You have the same 24 hours that everyone else does. It's just what you choose to do with it. And I was like, wow.
100%. 100%.
Wow, that got me.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, that's a good one.
So yeah, Animal Crossing does really well. No surprises. I mean, I'm not 100% surprised about this. I knew it was going to sell well. I knew it was going to do well. I just surprised that it overtook 2 of probably Nintendo's biggest properties.
I'm genuinely shocked over the Pokemon taking over, but then I think, again, this is just conjecture, but I think that if current events were different, I think it would probably have tied with Pokemon. I don't think it would have surpassed it. Yeah.
I think it probably would have still overtaken it regardless, in my opinion.
It's possible.
Regardless of the situation, because I think they did some quite good things with the advertisement for this. They kept it on the down low for quite a long period of time, made everyone sort of excited about it. Having that Switch system as well that everyone was really interested in getting.
Yeah.
They've done the right thing, and I think Animal Crossing could now be regarded as probably one of Nintendo's biggest properties, along with Zelda, Mario, all those lot.
Absolutely.
I mean, despite it only ever coming out on the GameCube and like
Yeah.
handheld systems, like yeah, okay, they had a Wii version, which annoys the hell out of me because it has 2 different names across the world, which I don't get it.
I hate when they do that.
Yeah, it's so weird,
It
but
is very weird.
you know, it always seems to do really well, Animal Crossing. So I think it is now a juggernaut, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I think that's a perfect descriptor. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Animal Crossing will keep. We'll see. We kind of said this in a previous episode, which is Nintendo does not do great hardware.
So they always do great software.
They always do great software, and so they have timed releases and different kinds of. That's what keeps them afloat.
Yeah,
while the big boys are fighting over teraflops. So I think again they've tapped into a vein that's going to keep them above water for the next few years for sure.
Yeah. Definitely. Mm-hmm. Okay, we've talked a lot about that already, so I think we'll move on. And this one happened in the last couple of weeks, but it's such an interesting topic.
Yes.
That I wanted to discuss it. But let's just remember, this is only a rumor.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
At the moment, nothing official is confirmed or concrete, but there are a lot of sources on this one.
Yes.
So I'll read this exactly how I wrote it. Sony in talks with Konami to reboot Silent Hills for PS5, with Kojima touted to be back directing.
Yeah.
So that means plenty of Norman Reedus then.
Yeah, definitely. And his fetus. Because...
well, it will have another fetus, yeah. Which is really weird.
Yeah, exactly.
What is with Kojima, Reedus, and fetuses? Yeah, I mean, there was a fetus in a sink in this one, and then there's like a pseudo embryo in the... in Death Stranding.
Death Stranding,
which is,
yeah.
All right.
I was going to say, I mean, I've not made it a secret about how much Death Stranding does not appeal to me on any level.
I've made it aware that I do want to play it.
Mm-hmm. I have zero desire to ever play it, but having said that, Kojima on Silent Hills, please, yes, please.
I never played the PT demo, but oh my god, I watched a couple of Let's Plays of it, and it freaked me the hell out.
Oh my gosh, I played it and also watched it. I'm trying to remember which one I did first. I think I played it first, and then watched the Let's Players because I just love them. Okay. And
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, my favorite Let's Play of PT is definitely Game Grumps. Go check it out.
Nice.
It's so funny. But it was so well done. I remember just being blown away by the graphics. Even though they were kind of simple because they're static,
Yep.
But it didn't matter because the lighting was beautiful. It was just well done. The sound design was great. And,
yeah,
it did have enough. I've mentioned before how I don't really get scared by games. I don't really feel fear, and I didn't feel fear either in PT, but that
it was unnerving and unsettling.
That's the word. That's it. It was still unsettling, unnerving, and put me on edge. But like I kind of like that, so I was like, ooh, what's gonna happen
me
next?
too.
Yeah, I'm like, oh. So yeah, I would love to see this happen. I hope it's more than just a rumor.
Yeah, I do as well, and I really do hope that Sony are taking the lead on this one rather than Konami, because we all know Konami's track record.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, I always find this weird, right? So when I was touching down in Las Vegas last year, obviously being the home of Evo, I was looking at it, I was just landing the plane, and you see Konami's offices pretty much sitting right on the runway.
Right.
So weird. And I looked at it, I went, Konami? What are they doing here? And then I remembered, oh yeah, they do gaming machines. Of course they do. Of course they would have an office here.
Yeah, I think we even talked about, we did, didn't we? Early episodes about Konami doing a Silent Hill gaming machine.
Oh yeah, yes, they did.
Wow, that That's a pull from
throwback
way
to
back.
a really old episode.
Yeah. Wow. Autistic
Wow,
brain
you actually
wins
remembered
again.
an old episode.
I know.
Usually it's me bringing those up.
See, that's the thing. It has to be really old in order for me to remember it.
Okay, fair enough.
It's the recent ones I can't remember.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, I would love to see this happen. Oh god.
I do want this to happen. I think it's probably smart Sony going to Konami. If this is true, we have to preface that again.
Yes.
If this is true, and they want Kojima back directing Silent Hills, which is obviously the game that he was going to work on with Guillermo del Toro and Norman Reedus, and goodness knows who else was going to be on for that. Because let's imagine one thing, right? I mean, Death Stranding had all these big name people in it, you know.
Yeah.
Mads Mikkelsen, Lea Seydoux, Norman Reedus, just to name a few. How many of those do you reckon? Yeah, I wasn't thinking more about Conan O'Brien, but you know, I was thinking more of the main sort of
Monster
stars that were in it. Oh yeah,
see, I really don't like. I'm sorry, guys. I really don't like Death Stranding. It's just too much. It's too much. Ugh.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw something your way because we know obviously Norman Reedus was in the game.
Yes, that's right.
Do you reckon that Mads Mikkelsen and Lea Seydoux were going to be in the game as well? Because they seem to sign on to Death Stranding pretty quick.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Kojima had a backup plan. I think that he lives with backup plans. He just strikes me as that type. And I think when it was canceled, he went, all right, I still have this list of people that want to work with me. And
I've got an idea for a game.
Yeah, I'll be able to get them, no problem. And he was.
Yeah.
That's what that's my theory.
Very clearly, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But for me, too many well-known faces takes me out of the game. I don't know. Maybe it's that uncanny valley. I don't know.
It's highly possible, but you look at it the same sort of principle as years and years ago of having all these great talents working on Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
That was very weird. That was sort of the uncanny valley. It's where video games and movies finally did collide.
Yeah.
And it sort of started everything going down a particular path, and it was a bit strange. And let's be honest, Final Fantasy Spirits Within sucks.
It's terrible. It does remind me, until we know we need to move on, but it does kind of remind me of this book I once read, and this was years ago, so I had to be like 12 or 13. It's an old book. I don't remember what it was called, but it was about... you remember that movie Her that came out?
The one with Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix and what's-her-face was the voice of the computer called Her.
Oh, yeah.
Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson.
I haven't seen the film, but I've heard a lot about it. I've heard it's very interesting.
Well, the premise is interesting. Joaquin is amazing. But the film itself...
Joaquin.
Yes. It kind of falls flat, but...
Okay.
It's very similar to this book where there was a guy who falls in love with a completely fictional 3D rendered actress.
Yeah.
There's nothing real about her. In fact, I think her voice is taken from Marilyn Monroe's old voice files.
That would make sense.
Yeah, but the person itself is completely a construct, and he falls in love with her, and there was something about the idea of falling or getting attached to something that's completely not real that just kind of shook me to my core as you know, 12 or 13. So whenever I see like fully rendered, movie stars in games, or the holograph projections of like, Tupac Shakur and all those, they disturb me on that level. And
of course. Yeah,
so I hate to say, but it's probably my distaste for that kind of colors my Death Stranding dislike. That makes sense. Yeah. But I also can't lie and say that Mads Mikkelsen in a Silent Hills game, oh my gosh. Can you imagine that?
Mads Mikkelsen in most things. is great.
Exactly.
And I preface that by saying, apart from Doctor Strange, because he was terrible in that. And I don't think that was his fault. I just think it was poor writing on Scott Derrickson's part on that one.
Yeah.
Because he wrote everything else perfectly, but the main villain.
You've said that a few times, which makes me want to go and actually watch Doctor Strange.
Yeah, because I'm angry. I'm still angry about it because you know, we've spoken before, but my absolute love of Doctor Strange as a property was enough for me to go, right, I'm paying money to go and see a Marvel movie, people.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Like I was really happy with that film, apart from him, and I really hated that because I love Mads Mikkelsen. I think he's an outstanding actor.
He is, hands down. He is really good.
He does have one of the best lines in the whole film.
Oh,
it's where Doctor Strange is introducing himself. He was like, he calls him Mr. Strange, and he's like, no, it's Doctor. He's like, Mr. Doctor. That is a bit strange.
Ah, that's very good.
I probably butchered the quote, to be honest, but it's something along those lines.
I get the gist of it, and I like it.
Yeah, it is good. It is good.
Yeah.
So I was going to raise one last point with this. I think Sony sitting there as the mediator towards Kojima and Konami is probably smart.
Yes.
Because there's no way that Konami are ever going to go back to Kojima out of sense of principle, and there is no way Kojima is going to go back to Konami out of sense of principle. So if Sony were to come in and go, okay, well, we kind of partially own Kojima Productions, and we want to work with Konami, and Konami likes money, let's be honest.
Oh, yes.
This might work for everyone. This could be a win-win-win for all three parties.
Yeah.
So long as Konami stays out of it, I think.
If
they are to allow Sony and Kojima to basically do whatever they feel is right with Silent Hills, then I think they're going to be onto something pretty special here, especially when you take into account that one of the patents on the PS5 was to do with a heartbeat sensor on the controller.
Oh, right. Oh, God, yeah. I would love to see this happen.
That would be insanely weird.
Oh, my gosh.
To do with that, if that is true.
Yeah. I mean, because it wouldn't be hard to do because I'm not going to get into it. It would be very boring. But
well, yeah.
But that I would love to see. God, I'm just repeating myself, but I can't help it.
It's an interesting prospect. That's why
I want this to happen, and I will be first in line to sign up to play it. So, absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move on to our next news topic, but the next news topic is so large we needed to get some help.
Woohoo!
So, we want to welcome onto the show Daryl Baxter.
Yay!
Hello there.
How are you doing?
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So how's things on your end?
Good. It's busy, but I'm enjoying it all. It's a fun time. I'm helping this little segment of your news.
Yeah. So we've got a doozy of this one here. So we had a Nintendo Direct Mini. Yeah, emphasis on the mini because it was 30 minutes long. that's a real mini direct. I'm pretty sure Nintendo need to sort out their labeling of that one.
Absolutely.
This was a very interesting one though. So we had quite a lot that was shown off. So started out by showing Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition and showing the new epilogue. I can't remember what it was called. Is it? I'm blanking on the name, but yeah, there's a new epilogue basically coming to the game. The announcement that an Arms character is coming to Smash Brothers as the next DLC. There was a couple of shadow drops as well, so games like Good Job and Panzer Dragoon Remake.
Yeah, which we have a review on our site currently for Panzer Dragoon. And
that one got turned around very quickly.
But I was actually kind of intrigued by that announcement. So.
Yeah, I've heard that it's not a very long game, which is interesting.
It's a shame.
Yeah. Because, you get to ride a dragon.
Yeah. I mean, Panzer Dragoon is a series that's absolutely loved by quite a fair few people, especially those who grew up on the Saturn. But
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in that time era, but I never played it because I didn't own a Saturn.
I would go and look at the box art, pick it up, turn around, and go, "Oh, we could ride a dragon." But then it was way too expensive for me at the time, so I never got to play it. But I always wanted to.
Yeah, and it's one of those kinds of games that's only just gone up in value over the years as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're never really going to get it at a decent enough price anymore if you want to play it. So this is probably your best option, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I was going to say, Daryl, have you ever played it? Did you ever get the chance?
So I played like the Saturn game at a friend's house, I remember, and I remember enjoying it. But it was when it came out on the Xbox's Auto, and it had the first game, I think, as the bonus game, and I played a lot of that. That was really good. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
really good.
I actually forgot they released it on the Xbox.
I did too. I'm kind of kicking myself now.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
There was a few other games that were shown. So a lot of rumored stuff. So the BioShock collection, the Borderlands Handsome collection, and XCOM 2 Definitive. So that was quite interesting, with a lot of games coming out on May 29th.
Exciting. Can't wait for them.
Yeah, all of those 2K games coming out on the exact same day, especially the same day as Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition as well.
Yeah, it's a busy day for pay packets.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's good thing it's right at the end of the month.
Yeah.
They must have planned that one pretty well.
Yeah. Water bill, electricity bill, and all the 2K games done.
There you go.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Am I going to eat this month, or am I going to play nothing with 2K?
Like a pizza or BioShock.
I was going to say, BioShock. Yeah. Original BioShock and Borderlands 2. Yeah, I'll skip the pizza and the Chinese this week.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I played the first BioShock game, so I'll probably will pick that up just so I can go and play that again.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Borderlands has been like, PS Plus games like over the years as well, so I think I must have them somewhere, but just haven't got around to playing them.
Yeah, I like them. We've talked extensively before about the whole Borderlands thing and legacy, I'll say, and I will say though that as just a run and gun, Borderlands 2 is pretty dang good. I really enjoy it.
Okay, because I was under the impression that you should probably play the first one before you play the second one, but I've heard like conflicting stories on that one from different people.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, like, usually when something is, 1 and 2, there's some kind of lore that ties them together, and there's spoilers and blah, blah. Because Borderlands was released without a lot of lore, it was literally just run and gun, as I said. They didn't build out the lore very much, so the Borderlands 2 is actually better mechanics and has a little bit more story to it. You're not really missing anything if you don't play the first Borderlands, but completists may wish to play them. I didn't play them in order. I played 2, then 1, and it was fine. Absolutely.
Yeah. What about the pre-sequel? Is that any good?
I have it, and I haven't played it. It's sitting here, and you'd think I would, because I do love Handsome Jack. I have mentioned that before.
Yeah.
I haven't played it. I've heard good things, though, but I don't know.
I've heard all right things. I've heard it's probably the weakest of the 3 games.
It may be, but see, I can't even say, because I actually haven't cracked it open or watched a Let's Player, which is weird.
That is very weird for you.
Yeah, I probably want Handsome Jack and all of his evilness preserved in my brain, and I don't want to see him as a good character, so...
I suppose that makes sense.
In a weird way.
I mean, just play Tales from the Borderlands.
Oh, God, don't even. I'm not a fan of Telltale games. I just can't.
I know, I just do that to wind you up.
Daryl, what do you think about Telltale games?
I'm with you. I don't like them.
Good.
Right, okay.
That's the first guest we've had agreed with me. Yes.
Yeah, I just get so bored.
Yes. They're not really games to me. They're more like stories. Visual novels. Yeah.
I think that's what I quite like about them, though, is that they are sort of a visual novel sort of aspect way of playing things, really.
Yeah.
And even though I haven't really played many visual novels, I quite like the story of Tales from the Borderlands and the first Batman game. They were quite interesting, but I haven't played anything else other than that.
Oh, I think they did well on Back to the Future.
I've heard that's terrible.
Oh, I enjoyed it only because Back to the Future is a movie, obviously. The voice actors were on point. It sounded good.
Okay.
It was an extension of the movie. So I think that worked with the visual medium, like a movie and a visual novel type thing.
Yeah.
But as far as games go, because you can make any choice in there and the ending is the same. It's a forced ending, it's just, just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, of course. I can understand that. I mean,
it's not really a game. It's a quick time event.
All right. Fair enough. I can understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, but we had a few more things that I it's not announced, but they did talk about was the new updates for Animal Crossing. So it was the Easter event, which they called Bunny Day, I think it was.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, and Earth Day as well. So that was another update that's coming after this one.
So, okay, now this may be a bit controversial, and please correct me if you have differing opinions.
Okay.
So what Nintendo has done here with Animal Crossing is it's basically released an app, a game that's like on your phone, and except it's on the Switch because they'll be able to do, like you said, events. But I guess WoW does events as well. But still, events that will keep your hand in your pocket is kind of what it feels like.
I don't know. These are all free updates.
Well, that's good. Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's one of the things that they've always had with Animal Crossing is they have seasonal events, kind of like what Destiny does with their sort of stuff there as well.
Yeah.
So they'll make sure that there's an event going on at least some points during the year. So you'll have your winter, your summer, and your autumn. All the good stuff that all those Animal Crossing fans love. They'll probably have more additional stuff coming along with it that's in between those major seasonal updates.
Right. Yeah, I'm always on edge for DLC. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of this is really DLC. I think it's just updates and, taking the version up to a different version.
Fine. That makes sense. That's kind of cool. It adds a level of interactivity.
Yeah, but then they also discussed the Pokemon expansions as well. So the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra. They talked more about the Isle of Armor and the sort of path that you're going to be going along with that one. So I think it was a specific fighting legendary that if you took one path would learn a particular type and would learn a different type if you took another path. I think it's a water type for one path and a dark type for another.
I wonder if they'll base the map on Northern Ireland since we got left out. The latest one.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah, that would be actually kind of cool.
It is a separate island, so it could be.
It could be. That would be really cool, actually.
Yeah. Well, because we remember how all the Scottish people were when they announced that this was basically a pseudo England and you were starting the game in Scotland.
Exactly. Oh, too funny.
It was good. So, Daryl, I noticed there was a bit of a reaction to one of the things that I said was the Arms character in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that's it.
I want to talk to you about Smash Brothers.
Go for it.
That's Pete's thing.
Yeah, I took myself over to Vegas last year just to go to Evo to go and compete in Smash Brothers.
Oh, well. How'd you get on?
Terribly.
Okay.
Yeah, I got tilted by a really good Ganondorf player who showed me something I'd never seen before. I was like, yeah. Wow. Just threw me off. But anyway, we won't talk about my terrible tournament career. So, how do you feel? Well, not only that Arms was getting the free trial for the next week and a half, but that an Arms character is due to come to Smash Brothers as the next DLC.
It was one of those things where you thought, it was one of those, oh, of course they're bringing that to Smash. Of course they are, because it all makes sense, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you just kind of think that it just works in that world of Smash Brothers. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the Smash attack could be, the final Smash, but I mean everything else. You know, you've got like the crazy arms as a normal attack, and special attacks with the B button. And I think the stage I'm looking forward to seeing, because it could just be, you know. So really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've got a couple of stages in mind that I think would work really well. Ribbon Girl's stage would be a good one with the changing platforms. So the platforms that come out of the floor and raise the height a little bit. I think that would be a good one. Or Min Min's stage with basically the ramen bowl dip.
Yes, yeah, that's
true. Would be very cool. But yeah, I think there could be a really interesting way that they'll do things. Like with every character that they've had in the DLC, they've had a unique aspect. So obviously, Joker's was Arsene, and Banjo-Kazooie's was the Wonder Wing.
Yes.
Terry's was that he was stupidly broken. I mean, I think one of the things they're going to do is they're going to map down B, kind of like what they've done with Hero, to be able to change your arms.
Okay.
So it might be that you have a selection of arms that I have available to you, and that will change the properties of each of your Smash attacks based on which one you're using.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can see that.
So in terms of the final Smash, I know there's a super meter, but I don't think they're going to use that as their final Smash. I think some of the side games, they might actually use some of the stuff from there. So like basketball, or hoops as they called it, where you just grab them and you do an almighty dunk as the as the final Smash would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or the volleyball where you just go for the spike.
Maybe just both.
That's also possible. Yeah, you spike them down and then you grab them like in midair and just dunk them.
Yeah, all the list of characters just doing it at once, like Mega Man.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. That would be so cool. So the only thing I need to ask then, who do you think it's going to be?
Oh God!
I put you on the spot. I'm sorry, I should have prepared you for that one.
Honestly, I've forgotten the names. I mean, to be fair, I mean, a lot of like people kind of like remember when they see Arms with like the front cover. To be honest,
yeah, of course.
So really, like the guy with the blue quiff, I can see him being in the character.
That's Springman.
That's it. Yeah. So even that.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's discounting him, in my opinion, is the fact that he's already an assist trophy.
Oh, right. You got me there. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
there's quite a colourful cast of characters in that game, so I think anyone could be in with a chance, because they did show every single fighter that was on Arms.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like a Pokemon trainer, really, perhaps.
Oh, I never really thought about that one. So they have like different characters based on like different situations, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be interesting.
That would be very cool. Yeah, that would be a good
mechanic. Look, to be honest with you, I would like to have Ribbon Girl in there because she was my main in that game. But I think I'd be happy with either Twintel or Min Min or Master Mummy. Master Mummy would be cool.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I remember that one. To be fair, actually, that'd be a pretty good one to have.
Yeah, it would be unique, wouldn't it? It would be very different and strange. Seeing basically an undead person walking around, like, attacking Mario and Sonic and all that. That would just be so strange.
Well, that's it. Yeah, just even more ridiculous in Smash.
Yeah.
Well, it would work well for Simon and Richter, though, wouldn't it? For their like as a trailer.
It would.
Yeah, just... I don't know. It's just straight. It's going to be so cool when it does happen. But they're apparently due to come out in June, which, according to Sakurai, after the Direct Mini went out, he said, "Don't think this is coming out in June."
Yeah.
Yeah. Considering the current situation, I think that's probably right.
Yeah, all bets are off, really.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it'll give him more time to work on it, I think.
Yeah.
I was going to say, how much do you think that the current situation is affecting release dates for everything, actually? for all platforms?
To be honest, it's a lot. It's everywhere, really. I mean, it also had to land on the year where the new consoles are meant to be launching as well.
Exactly.
So it's really difficult. I mean, I think it helps the fact that we're in an age where we can download a game from a store online. You know,
right.
Whereas if this was 20 years ago, you'd be struggling to buy a game. You know.
Gosh, yes.
I mean, if this was 20 years ago, we wouldn't even get the game in Europe at the same time.
That's true.
Japan would.
Yeah, that's very true.
Like 2 years later.
Yeah. It's like any kind of game that's launching after June. To be honest, I just doubt. Really, I just can't see any of those games like launching in a retail store or a full game. I mean, the closest I can see would be like the demos that have been coming out for Resident Evil and a couple others, but that's it.
Right.
Yeah, because you got Trials of Mana that's currently got a demo on the eShop and PS4. I think that's probably still going to make the release date. But there was an update from Square Enix a couple of days ago that basically says that the vast majority of physical versions of Final Fantasy VII Remake are going to be delayed.
Yeah. It would have to be. I mean, you know what I just thought, though, also, I wonder how much this current events are going to affect the pricing as we go forward, because if, globally speaking, a lot of people are maybe not quite getting the amount of money that they normally get, will they have that expendable income to pay, 500 quid or whatever for an Xbox or a PlayStation 5?
Well, I had an idea, really. The fact that Xbox brought out this idea of paying a monthly fee for an Xbox. So this, this could happen with the new consoles, really. So they could say the total price maybe in a year's time, but they say for now, when they launch it in November or October or whenever it's going to be launched, here's a subscription price to get the console sent to you, and for your accounts, we're going to send some games.
Oh, I think that could really work.
That is that if they implement something like that, I think that's dead on, because Pete actually partook of the
all access.
Thank you. I couldn't think of it for the Xbox One, and then you get an Xbox X.
Yeah. So Smith's Toys in the UK were doing a deal around just after Christmas, where if you took up all access, then it would be 12 months for the upgrade rather than 18 months. So by the time Christmas comes around, I'll be basically looking at a new Series X, which would be nice.
Yeah.
But whether or not it even comes out this year is going to be a totally different thing.
I think what Daryl presents, if they would adopt some kind of tactic like that, I would be all over it. I would all three consoles.
Yeah.
not that there's a new Switch coming out. I mean,
no.
But and Stadia, RIP. So
let's be honest here, though, Kylie. Like, you haven't touched your Switch basically since you bought it, so
I haven't.
Can't really say you'll be all over all three.
I know. I like to be charitable and just be like, oh yeah, I'm all about equality for everyone, and then I go back to my Xbox.
I want to help support the small business by buying Nintendo products.
They do have a good, robust indie library, to be fair.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Xbox does as well. They're getting much better with that, with the idea Xbox.
Absolutely.
So. All right. I think that will cover the Direct Mini. Not very mini Direct.
How long are the Directs normally? I don't have the
usually about 30 to 35 minutes, maybe 40 tops.
Okay. Yeah.
Usually the E3 one is the longest one at about 40 minutes.
Oh gosh. Yeah, see, I have no attention span, so after about 5 minutes I'm like start wandering around.
Yeah. Well, you should try watching one of the Xbox ones. They're like 2 hours long.
I can't.
Oh, I knew that was the reaction. That's why I said you should try.
I have tried and no. Only when I love it when the things break on stage. They're always the best.
I miss that about E3. Honestly, is all the technical errors. They always used to be so much fun.
Yeah, I definitely think we've mentioned this in previous episodes, but I kind of would like to get Daryl's point of view as well. We kind of feel that E3 is on its way out, especially with the way things have occurred in the last few months, and that most of them will be switching to digital type of, well, kind of like Nintendo Direct, but for all the brands. What do you think with the current way things are?
I think it's the end, to be honest, of E3. It didn't help last year, the fact that they leaked all those attendees' names and emails and addresses.
That was
goodness, that was awful.
Yeah, that was
strike against them.
I mean,
pretty bad.
That was the thing, is like they didn't have Sony there last year, which okay, I can understand they were having a bit of a spat with the ESA, but you know, for them to not be there was quite a big thing. And then they seemingly put on like a really good show last year, and then they doxed 10,000 journalists. It's like, what is going on?
Gosh. Yeah,
it was terrible, and their response to it was just laughable as well, because they just didn't acknowledge it.
That's right.
No, they didn't acknowledge it for ages, and then they like finally mentioned it, and by that time everyone's already gone, well, I've already changed my phone number and my email address because of you.
But yeah, we kind of came to the same conclusion that it's the end. It signals the end.
Yeah, if it wasn't for coronavirus, I think it would have ended this year, really. But there's no point now. There is just no point. I think.
Yeah,
that's it.
Exactly.
Agreed. It's done. In its current format, I think it's done and dusted.
Yeah.
I think if they're gonna still be relevant, they need to do it digital only. I think.
But
they need to find a solution where most of the games that are going to be out on the show floor need to find their way onto storefronts to actually be played by the vast majority of people rather than just a select few.
Or start doing demos again like they used to on the PlayStation Magazine when you get the demo disc.
Send out monthly demo discs for people who want to pay for them. That'd be great.
But digital versions, so we could just download demos.
Yeah.
But,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same actually, because you could go to a certain section of, like, say, the eShop store, and there'd be time demos for the week.
Exactly.
You need to go on, and that'd be it.
Yeah. See, they should get us in charge.
Clearly.
Absolutely.
We've given some good ideas.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not giving you my ideas for free, Nintendo. Come on.
I want a character in Smash Brothers, and I'll give you all my ideas.
That would be the worst fighter ever.
I was going to say, what would your
an Ultimate Marvel?
I was going to say, what would your Smash be? Your Smash.
What, my character?
Yeah. What would it be?
Look, I don't want me. I just want Phoenix Wright. That's it.
Oh gosh, yes.
Him or Edgeworth, just put those in, and I'll be happy. I'll buy. I'll literally buy like multiple copies of Smash Brothers.
Oh gosh, you're the exact customer they want.
Too right. I'm not afraid to admit.
Yeah.
I spent £1,000 to go and play Smash Brothers in Vegas.
Yeah, but that's pretty good though. That is pretty cool. I want to go to Vegas. I want to go to Vegas, but I want to go for the dumbest reason on the planet. I fully admit my favorite game is New Vegas, and I want to go to all of the places in Las Vegas that are based, or all the places that New Vegas based on Las Vegas actual things, and take pictures.
That would be cool.
It's so cheesy, but yeah, I want to see all of those things in real life. IRL.
Look, if you're going to do it, honestly, just do not cosplay as a raider. You will die. You will honestly die.
Just because of the heat?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm originally from Texas. I think I'll be fine.
Nah, you'll still die in that Raiders outfit, honestly.
That's true.
Who knows? You might get bought a few drinks by a couple of random people.
Hey, there you go.
They're all drunk.
That's true. Oh yeah, one day I do. I do want to see Vegas one day. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Shall we move on?
Yes, absolutely.
I think we sort of sidetracked there. You'll get used to that, Daryl.
Yeah.
No worries.
We're very organic. We just hop down those bunny trails and just go.
No, I love it.
So we're gonna have a quick chat with Daryl, obviously, because he's quite a let's say prestigious person in the industry.
Yeah.
Am I?
Well, I was gonna say prolific, but yeah, prestigious is nicer.
bit prestigious. You know, you've done a lot of work in the games industry. So, did you want to just give a little introduction of who you wrote for?
Yeah, sure. So I've written for Wired. I've written for Super Jump, which is a Medium magazine. Bloody Disgusting. I've also done like tech magazines like Mac Format as well.
Oh, yeah.
Something called The Loop as well, which is decent. And at the minute, I'm writing for a esports tech site called Stealth Optional, which is going really well so far. Yeah, it's not bad. I've written for other sites like, well, started with Mike Tendo 64. I think Jen was in the same.
Yes,
right.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I've done Games Radar, Tech Radar, Nintendo Life, Den of Geek.
Oh, nice.
VGC. So yeah, just a few.
Sounds amazing work with some really decent names, actually. You know,
yeah, absolutely.
Games Radar, you know, Bloody Disgusting. Nintendo Life have really come up in the last few years as well. Like they've become quite a juggernaut now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they have.
Absolutely.
But I was actually looking through like your website. It's a really amazingly well done, and like the fact that you've got everything like on there on your portfolio is like a really interesting way to link to everything. So I was having a look at some of the articles you've done there, and there was a couple that stood out to me, and one of them was the article that you did about spiders in video games.
It's one that always gets mentioned.
Yeah. I'm sorry that I've mentioned it, but I have hatred. I can't stand it.
Thank you. Yes.
I remember playing Resident Evil 1 all those years ago. One of the other things like I have is particularly aggressive dogs, because that comes back to something of my childhood. So, you know, I had it all in that game. I had the huge spider boss fight, and then the opening section where you're running through the corridor with the dogs jumping through the windows. So that game freaked me out.
Yeah, it's still traumatizing to me to this day when I play Resident Evil 3 at the clock tower and they're all there. I just can't do it.
Yeah, it's mostly the reason why I stay away from horror games and horror movies, because I know full well it's gonna happen.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah, what is it that you particularly don't like about them, or is it just you can't help the fear?
I don't know. Oh man, I mean, the color of them is the first giveaway, which I don't like. And I think it's the legs as well, because it's just so big, and the way they move as well. Even though, like in the older games, it looks like a terrible GIF almost, like moving about. But yeah, it's just when I see him, and I think it just kind of reawakens that fear I have in real life, and it just kind of mixes up and goes, no, I'm not playing this now. So as far as I'm concerned, I completed Resident Evil 3 when I entered the clock tower, and it said end, and that was it. There isn't anything else after that.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I'm sort of the same. I look at them and it's like, oh, you know, especially tarantulas. It's like, oh, those hairy legs and all that sort of thing. It's so, oh, no. And I once had a friend who did own a tarantula who was trying to get me to hold on to it. I was like, nope, you let that thing out of that cage and I'm running out of your house.
I'd be the same.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just that, like, irrational fear, isn't it? You know that most of them, especially in this country, cannot hurt you. But so creepy looking and horrible.
That may be why I have no fear of spiders. Because you're from Texas. They can kill you. And so I move here and I'm like, oh, hey, spider friend. But let me ask y'all this. Have either of you, and I'm sure you have, played Skyrim?
No. And do you know why?
I was going to say, how about that? How about that section?
I turned my TV off, put the controller down, and never touched it again. That's all it is. All you got to do is just put a spider in there. I'm done. I'm done.
That's funny. That's
I'm out.
Yeah, and like people like. Friends were like trying to get me to do the VR section of that, and I'm like, not a chance is that happening.
That's just too real,
brilliant.
Far too real.
I love that. That's great. I've made it pretty well known on this podcast that I don't really get afraid of things in games, so I'm always looking for the game that will send the shivers up me, and I still haven't found it yet. So fingers crossed I find it. But no, the spiders don't really scare me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just something I'm just gonna have to deal with, and who knows, like in these future Resident Evil games, if they appear, then oh man.
Well, I think you've done yourself a disservice as well, because you write for Bloody Disgusting and they're horror related, so that's not going to really help you out at all, is it?
It's weird because like a lot of people have been asking me for like up to that spider piece, so I'm pondering whether to do it again.
Oh, you should.
Very good.
It was a very good article, and I definitely did relate to it.
I was going to say, I think what you did is you tapped into like a universal fear or consciousness of what people, think and feel type of thing. I think that went over really well.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing about it, is that you can clearly tell that you have an absolute fear of them, and that's how it comes out in the writing itself in the art. I think that's what made it like vastly enjoyable, because it's like I could sit there and go, I relate to every single part of this.
Yeah, it's definitely like just years and years of like just being terrified of them all in one article. So yeah, I'm glad it related.
Yeah, has anyone ever pulled the prank of putting fake spiders on you whilst you sleep?
So my partner had these toy spiders that put on my MacBook one time, and
of course,
yeah, so that was a treat. That was really nice. Yeah.
What did you do? Did you flip your MacBook up and like, oh god?
I just kind of like switched the lights off, locked the door, and then like came back to it after 3 days.
Yeah.
Oh,
she saw me like, oh, it's not real.
That is so good. I love that.
I've done the same thing as well, like in a sort of similar way, where I went up into my bedroom and was about to go to sleep for the night, and there was a spider, a real one, sitting there on my pillow.
Oh, God.
So I was like, all right, and it's back away slowly. And just literally just grabbed a cushion, went and slept on the sofa for the night, because there was no way I was going back in that room. And my partner came over the next day, and she was like, why are you on this sofa? I was like, you need to go and have a look.
Yeah, that's the one thing in this relationship. She sorts the spiders out, so it's all good.
It's nice when you have that arrangement, isn't it?
Yeah. She gets a spider, I buy the pieces.
I do the cooking, she removes the spiders. It's perfect arrangement.
Love it. That's great.
So there was a few articles that really interested me about your writing style as well. It was obviously I can very clearly tell the love of Smash Brothers, and also your love of Banjo-Kazooie when you did the write-up for that.
Yeah.
So I can, what is your experience with playing Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, like, and how many times have you completed them?
So it's a weird thing with Banjo, because I never had an N64, so I would go to a friend's house like just down the road from me back in the day, and I'd play it there, and I'd watch him play it as well, and it was really fun. And in a strange way, I kind of came back to it through emulation, to be honest.
Yes. High five, yes.
Yeah. Virtual high five, yeah.
Yep.
So straight away, like I've just been playing it like since then, and ever since I've because I built this this gaming PC at the start of the year, and the aim of it was to get an N64 thing working.
Yeah.
So I have an aim like to try properly complete like both games in a couple months.
Nice.
But yeah, I've had like a in and out relationship with it, because I had it on Rare Replay when I had an Xbox, but I didn't complete it.
Right.
But there's always been this kind of like swing of like nostalgia I've had with it regardless. So it was amazing, like when I watched that trailer last year and Banjo appeared in Smash, and I bought it as soon as it came out.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So yeah, it was great, and but yeah, I have a lot of nostalgia for it regardless.
Okay.
Definitely.
I mean, as a fan of Banjo-Kazooie and Smash Brothers, like, do you remember where you were when that video came out, and how crazy did you react to it?
So at the time, I was in Manchester, and I was in a job in pretty much like a tech support line, like helping people out. So in between like doing jobs, I had the stream like being videoed on my phone, and it was positioned in such a place where people wouldn't be able to see it. And it got to the point. Yeah. And it got to the point where then Smashlight appeared, and then I was watching it, I was going, what the hell is this? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And then he appeared, and then I remember like my jaw just like dropped, and it was ridiculous because then I was seeing him like in the stage and like fighting against other characters, and then I think I just went a bit mad on Twitter, and then when I went home when I finished work, I probably watched the trailer like 5 more times.
Oh, gosh, yeah, that sounds like Pete.
I kind of did the exact same thing, except I wasn't working at the time. I decided to wait until the direct was over and watch it when I was on my way home.
Oh, right.
Which was a really bad idea. I don't know why I did that. I'm like pounding the pavement for 2 miles watching a direct. That's so stupid. Like trying to avoid traffic whilst I'm looking down at my phone. So I was just walking along and I saw it, and the trailer opens obviously with King K. Rool and Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, and I'm thinking, hold on a minute, they're all rare characters. What? Oh no! And then because that was one of the things, it's like they were like some of the most requested characters like of all time with Smash Brothers. So it was like, are they really doing this? Are they actually doing it? And then they bait you with the duck hunt, and I laughed so much at that. And I went, but how have they got them looking literally almost identical to them? And I went, they're going to bait and switch so badly here, because they did it with King K. Rool's trailer as well.
They did.
So I looked at it and I literally, and I can't say my exact words because we're E for everyone here, but they were along the lines of, oh my effing God. And I just, like you, jaw to the floor, just watched it again and again and again. I was stunned. I was utterly stunned. Yeah. And then but that was the thing though, is that was around about the time they did the Hero trailer as well. So they did the Hero trailer, and then they did that long afterwards on the same direct. I'm like, okay, Hero, good character, not really very interested in Hero, but Banjo, oh my God.
I think Nintendo is very, very good at appealing to a vast audience and knowing just how to drop things and just how to build up things. I absolutely respect them for that. That's a gift.
Yeah, they managed to do some really great things with their viral marketing.
They do, absolutely.
But then they decide to be really like weird and so archaic in some of their practices as well.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo's definitely one of those very strange companies that
you can't really...
don't play by the rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't really predict them, even though we all as reviewers will try to. Because you'll be like, oh, this character's definitely coming. 100% it's this character, and then they'll drop a different character like
oh yeah.
It's like, well, I didn't see that coming, but if you look back, you can kind of see the work up to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely one of those things, especially in like Super Smash Brothers for Wii U, or Smash Brothers 4, we'll call it from now on. I don't know why. But when they first announced the game, like I was blown away by it again. I was like, let's get away from Brawl, because Brawl's a decent enough game. It's just it's a bit too slow and it's a bit too trippy.
Yeah, I agree.
And and I was just like, okay, right, so it's inevitable we're getting a new Smash Brothers game, but I didn't see them doing the 3DS version as well, which was a really sort of strange thing that they did by having both sort of act as separate games, which is very weird. But then, they got everyone in with Villager trailer, and then that unbelievably hyped Mega Man trailer. I remember that one. I was sitting at work and I was angling my phone in the way that I had to cover it. And I remember, because I was working in a betting shop at the time, there was a few people in there gambling away, and I literally just shouted out, "Oh my God, oh my God!" And they turned around and looked at me like I was crazy. I was just like, "What? You're crazy? You're the ones putting £4,000 into this machine. I'm going to have to count that later." All I'm doing is shouting at a truck.
I have to say, I guess it was their very original trailer for the Switch. Where Sonic tries to grab Pikachu, and then they all just get sucked up into Smash Brothers land. That one got me. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was really weird.
It's like Sonic's rescuing the little ones again, like he always did. Such a dork when it comes to that stuff.
Look, I have a problem with that trailer for World of Light. Sonic could literally outrun that beam of light, but never does, because he's quicker than Kirby, for goodness sakes. But yes, Kirby's the only one that survived.
But but my argument,
bit of bias.
Well, but my argument is comes back to it's because he was trying to rescue people. Well, animals. Pikachu.
You know, a favourite thing of my thing, right, is the fact that you see all the characters disappear and you see them all trying to escape, but then you just see Snake hiding in the cardboard box. And just fix him. There's just no effort. You're going, this will help me.
It's like, so I've accepted my fate. I'm in this box. I'm going to die how I lived. Like a banana.
See, that's why... to go off on a tiny little tangent, one of my favorite games is Saints Row 3, which I know everyone says 2 is the best and blah blah blah. It is, but I believe it's 3. I kind of get 3 and 4 a little bit smushed together because I didn't like 4, but there is this moment where they're parodying a lot of different games, but you have to complete the I'll say level, for lack of a better word, in a cardboard box, and you have to shoot out the cameras. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh god, I do love that series. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, the 4 is the weakest one, but I do very much enjoy the humor.
Yeah. I mean, the best cameo or best ever thing to do with Solid Snake was definitely Measle Gear Solid. That's good too. that was amazing on Ape Escape.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah.
Ape Escape needs more love.
Absolutely.
I love that series.
I agree.
Well, apart from their PlayStation Move version they brought out, oh my goodness.
PlayStation Move.
Yeah. We'll forget that even happened.
Yeah. Although I do need those controllers for my PSVR, and trying to get my hands on those controllers is very expensive, even used. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, it's even more tough now.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I have to track them down on the black market. And they're like 80 quid per stick. It's like,
yeah, I was good. What, the black market? Oh my god, you're not going on the dark net for that. That's crazy.
I'll never tell.
I did wonder how you got most of your stuff for your company. I won't say that.
Hey, I've got a room full of toilet paper and hand sanitizer now. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, you're well quitting then.
I did have a customer pay me the last week I was in operation. They paid me in toilet paper, so because I let people do alternative forms. I'm a printing press, so if they're a small business, I let them. We do trade and barter. It's fine. And usually they bring me wine. This time they brought me a 24-pack of toilet paper. And I was like, okay. Sure.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's like you probably had to sacrifice for this, so yeah, I'll allow it.
Yeah. Because next thing you'll know, they spent an hour like queuing up at in a shop just to go and get some.
Exactly. And honestly, and we're limited to 2 here.
Yeah.
And so, honestly, I was actually kind of touched. I mean, it was like, wow, okay. That was actually that's pretty cool. Sacrificing, so.
Yeah, for sure.
So, here's your business cards and leaflets.
Okay. So, I've actually... I had to do a lot of research on having you on, Daryl. So, obviously, I was reading through a lot of your articles. There's something that's very thorough throughout the entire lot of your articles and also your podcast, which we will talk about in not too long.
Yep.
Your love of Lara Croft.
All right. Okay.
You talk about Lara Croft a lot, and Tomb Raider specifically, because a lot of the guests that you had on the podcast are all people that you've spoken to about Tomb Raider and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So where was it that you got your love of Tomb Raider and specifically Lara Croft herself?
So, I remember having Tomb Raider 2 at Christmas '97, and it was. I mean, I got that alongside Crash Bandicoot 2 and Pandemonium 2.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
A nice trifecta of games there, it's it's always kind of been a game that I've just always kind of gone back to and just really enjoyed, because I just find it just fun. You know, I know that all games are meant to be fun, but I find this one particularly fun, and I can play it over and over. And I think it's just one of those, along with Sonic, really, that I just kind of have an attachment to my childhood, to my discovery of games, and how it's kind of led up to here in a sense as well. So when I kind of thought I'd do the freelancing, I did a retrospective about Tomb Raider 2 from a uni magazine, and then it kind of led into interviewing the composer, Nathan McCree.
Yeah, I read that one. That was a really interesting read, actually.
So
good, cheers. So yeah, so I think because of that, it's kind of like, it was kind of both in a way of, it was how was it, like a turning point, almost like a landmark of like starting the freelancing, but also back in the day it started, or even more, like my love of games, really. So I think that's why I have a attachment to Tomb Raider and Lara Croft, really.
That makes sense.
Yeah, not so much for later games, but the original games.
That's where I wanted to come in. I too very strong original Lara Croft fan. In fact, I said this on a past podcast that one thing that I always watched as a kid was the water in games, because I love water. And the original Tomb Raider was the first time. Well, that, and then there was some kind of underwater demo that the PlayStation had. I don't remember what it was called, but the water levels in Lara Croft, it was like it was a whole new freaking world for me, because you'd run out of air and you could swim, and because you couldn't swim in Vice City, you couldn't swim in any of the, but here in Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, you could. And then having a game that's all puzzles and things, was, it just kept you addicted. I have great respect and love for that. I do not care for the last few iterations.
Wow. Okay.
I know it's controversial. I don't like what they did with the character. I don't like, the puzzles are more quick time movies. As opposed to actually figure them out. So I'd kind of like to get your view, Daryl, on what do you think of the new format of Lara Croft?
Do you mean like the Crystal Dynamics version of Lara Croft?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Specifically, yes.
I've played them, and they're definitely games, which is a good start. But as far as it's like trying to be like Uncharted, but having Lara Croft as the main characters, I don't think it works in a sense. I feel like they've kind of almost like strayed beyond as to what Tomb Raider is, because I think I said it in the Super Jump piece. It's like, it's not really meant to be serious like the game series.
Yes.
I mean, it was always meant to just have a comedic value to it, which I think has been lost, really. Because
absolutely,
a lot of people remember locking the butler in the freezer. You know, that's it's not about Lara's parents or whatever she's struggling with in a forest or with these Oni things. It's the freezer.
Exactly. Like,
that was always the thing that I did the most, was just that training level 1 2. You just go and lock the butler in the freezer, and it just run around, and then for some reason he just magically appears somewhere else again.
So good. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I will speak from my point of view, and then of course I'd like to have both of your point of views as well. Obviously I'm female. Well, I say obviously, but I'm either a 10-year-old or a female with this voice. So growing up for me, Lara Croft was one of those characters where you could go, I could be her one day, which is insane. But when you're, 10, you think you can be, anything. And I liked that she was very intelligent, well-spoken, and she was also very pretty, which I happen to like. I think that it's good when characters are attractive, but that's just my personal opinion. But and then so it was like this character. She was very, very strong, even though it's still a, lack of a better term, two-dimensional character. But there was no real backstory or anything like that. And then so I just kind of had this mystique in my mind of this intelligent, world, almost Indiana Jones type character, except female. Yeah. And then with the new iterations, they seem to have, I'm just going to use my own language here, dumbed her down and made her almost kind of a weak character, and I guess trying to show her vulnerable to give it a kind of depth that I don't think they need, kind of hearkening back to what you just said. So my thoughts are, I mean, what do you guys feel that, is Lara Croft still a strong character even though she's been made vulnerable? If that makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Daryl, do you want to take that one first?
Yeah, sure. I don't think this incarnation hasn't really. I just feel like you say, she is kind of two-dimensional in these newer games, and you don't care for the story. I mean, to be honest, I mean, it depends. And in a lot of games, you don't really care for the story as long as the game's good. And unfortunately, these newer games, they aren't really good either, to be honest.
I agree.
Because the thing is, Tomb Raider's got a massive fandom and a fan base, like Sonic, to be fair. Yes. And if you go on Twitter for some dedicated Tomb Raider profiles, you'll get very interesting arguments for why the newer series is very good and the greatest thing ever made.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing, like reading that, but then you just kind of step back and think, well, at the end of the day, I mean, it's lost that British wit, that humour,
yeah, for sure.
All the scenes that you used to see, like when you completed a certain level in Tomb Raider 2 or 3, she makes like a quick witted thing, or just have that dry humour, and that's not here at all.
Absolutely, I absolutely agree.
If you bring it back into a newer thing, but maybe even just do a reimagining of the first Tomb Raider again, but in this kind of way of how things are in modern times, I think that'd be great to have.
Yeah, I have to absolutely agree.
I would agree as well, especially if they decided to use the redesign where they're using the mocap. I think the person they got to do it, Camilla Luddington, is actually a very, very good actress, and she clearly does a really good job of doing Lara Croft. But
that kind of,
I think you're right, where it's not the same. It's sort of like this victim mentality sort of thing where they're doing that.
Oh gosh,
where it's like, okay, I'm a survivor on this island, specifically, the first game in the reboot series.
Yes.
But then, I don't like killing, and then the next thing you're killing 20 guards around you. It's like, that kind of defeats the whole point of your story there, doesn't it?
That seriously bothered me when, you get your first kill in that first reboot. And she's like shaking and sad and all. I'm like, no, this is not Laura. I don't know who this is, but it's not Laura.
I mean, that makes sense from a narrative aspect because it was her first sort of exploration mission, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They were trying to take it back to the origins, really, but I think the origins had already been done quite well in the first game.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see like an Egyptian setting again for PS5. I think it'd be amazing.
That would be fantastic, actually.
But mentioning the model, I've just blanked out her name that you literally
Camilla
just said.
Luddington. Camilla Luddington.
Yes. She also did the mocap for the Resident Evil girl that I've also forgotten.
What, Claire?
Yes, thank you. Gosh. Yes. So, and for me, it's kind of takes me out a little bit because of the game, because it looks like her. As we continue mocapping in games, which now I think is going to just be the definitive way.
I think it's the standard now.
What do you think about, or how do you feel about the same actress being these known characters and then the characters being modeled after her looks, so that when you're playing, let's say you're playing 3 different games and she plays 3 different characters in each, plays a character in each of those games, but all of those characters look like her. Are we going to go into movies now, like movie versions of games and, start championing who we want to see as our mocap, for that game? I didn't like it.
That's fair. personally, I think that's probably the way that we're going. I think we're going to start to see, a lot more mocap. We have seen it specifically with Death Stranding, where, those characters do look exactly like the actors.
Yeah.
And fair enough. Like, that was Kojima's thing. He wanted the big name actors in that to try and bridge the gap between gameplay and movies. So fair enough, I can understand it. But like you said, Camilla Luddington doing Lara Croft and Claire Redfield is quite a weird thing.
Yeah.
So you're gonna constantly see that actress, whereas in years gone by they always had a little bit more of a personality in the way that they looked. And that's not to say that I only look at female characters because they're nice looking.
Right.
But no, they did have a unique design aspect to them.
Yeah.
And the same with the male counterparts as well.
Absolutely.
This isn't just a gendered thing, it is across the board. Where you look at Resident Evil 7 with the DLC where they had Chris Redfield in there that looked nothing like Chris Redfield at all.
Yeah.
And it was a little strange, I'm not gonna lie about it. It's just it was very weird, and you look at it and you go, that's not who I remember.
No, see, I agree with that. So I mean, Daryl, what do you think? Do you applaud or champion the mocapping as it comes to be the thing that people do?
I think it's inevitable, really, as we're heading into like these next gen things, because people want to keep up with the latest things, the latest tech, and if it helps the development time, then I'm all for it.
Yes.
But I think you raise a good point, really, where you're kind of looking at a character and you think, oh, I've seen that person before. Because there's a lot of actors out there who are or typecast in a sense for their character, whether it's Daisy Ridley for Ray, whether it's like Robert De Niro for Raging Bull. I mean, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, you get the same with Joe Pesci doing like an short, angry mobster.
Yeah. So I feel like the avenues are converging. I think they were always meant to, really. But I think when it comes to like a game that has like humans in there, I mean, I think you need to kind of have it as almost as realistic as possible, perhaps. But I think Half-Life Alyx has shown that you can have something that works in that regard, where you've got that realism, but it's believable because you've got a great story and a script behind it. Whereas Tomb Raider didn't really.
Absolutely.
The latest games, anyway.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But that does make me kind of think, when I was itty bitty, there was a game where Mark Hamill played, I think he played some kind of captain.
Wing Commander.
Was it that? Okay. And I remember them showing like the behind the scenes on, I don't know, some TV channel or whatever. And they're like, oh, this is the future of gaming. And I was really excited. Of course, back then it was FMV or AMV, whatever it was. And but now here we are. God, that's like 20 years later. Oh gosh, I can't think too much about that. But and now we're doing mocapping. So I think that they did make a valid prediction 20 years ago. But now, I mean, I was very excited. I think because I just loved Luke Skywalker as a kid, so I was happy to see Mark Hamill in the game. Whereas now, speaking of like Death Stranding, seeing familiar faces, I don't know why, it just takes me out. Now this is just me, and I'm just talking, of course, my point of view, but it does it takes me out of the game. And again, using Lara Croft as an example, I mean, Lara Croft, and this is not a slight against anyone. She's very athletic, very active. You have to be. She pulls herself up on giant, rocks, and, and she swims all the time. So this would be a very fit, athletic, strong type, female character. And, she's very shapely. And classically, that is her character. And then with the new mocapping, it's, Camilla's a model, not an actress. Normally, I think now she's considered an actress, but So she doesn't have the tone, the muscle tone, and the athleticism that Lara Croft would have in that circumstance. That's a super technical thing, and I realize I'm being super nerdy about it, but that kind of stuff, I hate to see that. I want to see kind of like the old style of, the strong, I'm here to take on the world type of thing, and I don't think we're going to get that if we mocap models. But that's just me.
Okay, it's possible we could get that one day, but I don't know how long it's going to take for that to happen. Because I mean, imagine like a game like DOA being mocaps. That would be really weird, wouldn't it?
That'd be cool. That would be hilarious. But
I mean, you wouldn't have to worry about actually inputting jiggle physics, would you?
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. Oh no. Okay. We'll divert that.
That's just completely stumped you there, hasn't it?
Well, it's just that I was going to talk about Saints Row again, and then I was like, no. But but I'm talking about Lara, but we can also just say Batman. Say a future iteration of Batman comes out, and instead of strong, muscular Batman, they use a model like the guy they used for Chris Redfield. And that to me is not the Batman in my head, if that makes sense. It's like we're retconning characters to be less powerful because we're basing them on real people now. God, does that make sense? I don't know. But so I'm ultimately not a fan of mocapping, straight mocapping. I like in The Last of Us, and oh my gosh, in Red Dead Redemption 2, the mocapping in that is stunning. There's a scene in there that it gets the nuance of his face to the point where it just it's straight to the heart. I love that. But I do worry that as we rely more on mocap, we'll start to see more realistic characters, which I'm not sure that I'm fond of. Yeah.
I think for me, so long as they're able to do a really good, convincing mocap performance along with the voice work, then fine. But if they're getting two different people to do that, then I have a bit of a problem with it then.
Exactly.
Because imagine someone like Revolver Ocelot, who is famously voiced by Troy Baker.
Exactly.
They get his voice, but someone completely different doing the mocap side of things. I think that would be so weird to not have Troy Baker basically doing it.
Absolutely. Isn't that what happened in Thief? They didn't go with
the new one?
Yeah, the new Thief, sorry. They didn't go with the guy that always has done his voice because he doesn't mocap well. He doesn't look like the character.
I think I might have heard that from a big fan of Thief. Like, one of my good friends is a huge fan of Thief, and he said the new one was awful.
Yes, exactly. So I think we're in, no pun intended, uncharted territory.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
I think, I mean, you did mention that earlier, that it was a lot of the Uncharted influence, but I'm going to ask quickly, in terms of Tomb Raider, do you think that Resident Evil 4 ruined Tomb Raider in a sense with QuickTime events? Or has Resident Evil 4 ruined games for everyone?
Do you not rate Resident Evil 4?
Oh, I love Resident Evil 4. It's just you've seen ever since the game came out, you've seen this absolute rise of QuickTime events and sort of pseudo platforming areas and stuff like that. I know they've been around for a long time, but that game pretty much popularized them.
Yeah.
And Resident Evil 5's boulder punching as well.
Oh gosh.
That was I mean, I think, to be honest, I think Shenmue was the one that kind of really just brought it to the forefront, and I loved it. But I think Shenmue did anyway. But, I think you're right. And on the Resident Evil games, it definitely kind of like did it a bit too much, really. But yeah, when it came to Tomb Raider, it just really just went over the line. I thought it wasn't the Crystal. What was the Crystal? The first ones, like Legend and Anniversary.
Yeah.
I remember when I'd fight the T-Rex in Anniversary, and it had all these quick times. I just couldn't be bothered. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
That's so unfortunate because that's a massively iconic boss as well in the first game.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed for you guys as Tomb Raider fans.
I just have never ever been a fan of quick time events, and that may actually be more because, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's the reaction time isn't right or something, or I move too fast, and if you do it too fast, then you've messed up the game. You have to redo the quick time event again, and it's just like, just let me play.
Yeah. I think we've worked out why you don't like Telltale games then.
That's exactly why I don't like Telltale games. Yeah. I've mentioned before that one of my favorite Let's Players, which is Call Me Kevin, he just subverts all of the Telltale games and just picks the worst options and everything, and they still end the same way as if you picked all the positive options, you know? And I was like, that for me is not a game. That's a book. That's a visual novel. Yeah.
Of course. I think if you want a Telltale game that's not a Telltale game, just play Life is Strange.
You know, Life is Strange is kind of the exception because, well, for me anyway, because I guess it's not trying to be that's what it is. It's not trying to be anything but a story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think that's what makes it different. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go on to the last topic with Daryl here. And I want to talk Pal Keys, your podcast.
Great.
So where did you get your start with Pal Keys?
So I had a podcast before called Outpost Show, where it was just talking to people about their iPads and how they used it. And,
nice.
And I kind of just thought I'd conclude that. It just run its course. And I wanted to do something about gaming because, you know, that's my first love. I just want to talk to people about it. But I didn't want to kind of like do the whole, you know, just bring someone on, have a chat, and that's it. I wanted to kind of have a topic.
Yeah.
So I came up with the 2 questions that I haven't really heard on a podcast, which is a memorable game and a memorable boss stage as well, which is kind of like really opened the floodgates on all the guests I've had. So I thought, I'll just go for that. And because I thought I'll just, you know, dabble in some artwork, cover art, and see what I can do. So, you know, Pal Keys came from Metal Gear Solid, where you collect the Pal Key, hot, cold, normal, and that's why the colours are all kind of those 3 of them there, because they reflect the keys. And the title of Pal Keys, that's the exact same font as Sonic and Knuckles on the box art. So,
very nice.
So cool. That's cool.
So many things that I didn't even notice there, especially with the artwork. But I did notice the Metal Gear Solid influence because even the intro has Colonel Campbell talking about you've got to go find the Pal Keys.
So good.
I had to leave it in there.
Of course, yeah. If your podcast name is inspired by that, then you have to include it. Clearly,
absolutely. Yeah.
So, I mean, you've had quite a colourful cast of people on your podcast, which, I mean, some of them I've been following for quite a number of years. Andy Hamilton being one of my particular favourites on that one. I thought that interview was utter genius. It was fantastic. And the guy is an utter legend pretty much in the freelancing industry. So I'm glad that I got to listen to that. But he stole Street Fighter 4. I would have taken that one. If I would have ever come on, I would have taken Street Fighter 4. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, we had a chat about that, and I think I mentioned my favourite Street Fighter 3 version.
I've got my issues with that one, but I'm not going to mention them here. I mean, who prefers Double Impact over Third Strike? Honestly, I mean, I can understand it. The art style is very different, and the way it plays is quite different as well. You know, and I do really like Double Impact as well. It's a good game. It's not Third Strike.
That's a fair point.
But I mean, he obviously really loved his iterations of Street Fighter 4, you know, and he quite liked Street Fighter 5 as well, which is, I mean, I've got love for the game. I'm not going to lie, but I mean, how difficult was it to get him to nail down a particular game, or was it just he knew what he was going to do and that was it, and you just had a chat about it?
So every time I bring on a guest and they want to come on, I always kind of give them the 2 questions and say, think of it now, but don't tell me until record, because I want to be surprised. And so I remember him messaging me going, I'm not sure which one to pick. I'm like, look, we can do like your chosen one and a runner-up just to make it easier. And he's like, oh, okay. But yeah, so it was fine. I mean, it's just it can be difficult for some people because some people don't have a memorable boss stage or game or favorite one. They just kind of like all of them. But I kind of just go, you got no choice there. Just pick one. We'll have a chat.
That makes sense, really. And has there ever been a time where you've spoken to someone who spoke so passionately about a particular game that you've never really had an interest in, that you've wanted to go and play it just because of that?
Oh, man. I tell you what, it's actually, I'm not just saying this, but it's actually in the new episode that's coming on Friday that this one talks about. And it's a weird thing because I don't know when this episode comes out, but
it'll probably be out in a couple of days.
It's fine. So pretty much it's the fact that she spoke about this game and the passion was just amazing. She gave all these examples of these side quests and stuff. And we're like, oh, it's never going to be ported to PS4 or PC or anything. It's just going to be left on the PS3. And of course, I wake up today and I find out that it's getting ported to PS4.
Of course.
Yeah. So now I'm thinking, right, do I have to go and edit the podcast now again? Just kind of put in just so you know. We had no idea. But honestly, it was that.
Leave it. I think you should leave it on. It sound better because then you can probably put a footnote at the end. And just, by the way, we didn't notice at the time, but it is coming to PS4. Yeah,
but honestly, I think that where she gave a lot of passionately I thought was really nice, and I think now because of that, I'm definitely going to get it on PC now and just see how it goes.
Ah, very interesting. That's cool. I know we've had it with certain people who have come on here who've spoken very passionately about certain games. Like Jennifer's talked very passionately about Animal Crossing, to the point where I was so tempted to buy it as well. But we have discussed Phoenix Wright a lot, and I know she obviously brought Phoenix Wright over to you when she did an episode herself. So it's actually how we got a conversating on Twitter, was because we both. I think she posted something up about Phoenix Wright, and I didn't follow her at the time, and I just noticed that I went, "Yep, I'm getting in. I'm in. I'm involved." And then that was it. It's just it's great when you can form a friendship with people based on certain love of games and stuff like that. So, I'm sure you've made a lot of friends in the industry just based on not only just your love of gaming, but Lara Croft and other games across. That you've played, like Sonic. So one of the things was you had Lauren Aitken on your podcast, who I have followed her on Twitter for a few years now, and obviously people don't know her. She's a guide writer for VG247 now, full-time member of staff. And how was it discussing Witcher with her? Because I see that a lot on Twitter, and I'm like, that is a field waiting to happen for me.
Oh man, we spoke a lot. I think it was before we got on Switch as well. So we spoke a lot about it, and you know what? It was just great because the thing is, I'm one of those people where I would listen away. I don't mind at all, and I think that's a thing about this show is I just let the guests speak and just let them go off in their passionate game on that first question. So when she said about The Witcher, it was great just listening to why she loved it, why she will always love it as well, why she'll buy it on many platforms over and over and over again. I mean, even the title I've done is it's an anagram of The Witcher as well.
Nice.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
That is absolutely brilliant.
Okay, so you're adding new layers to this podcast I never knew about, and now I have to look out for them every time.
Yeah, yeah. There's always a little like Easter egg somewhere.
I love that. Absolutely love that.
So, what was the guest that you probably, and I don't want to call anyone out specifically, but who was the guest that you I'm trying to think of the right word, but you related to the most because of their choice of game and boss level?
Oh man, it's a we've had like so many I've been talking to, but oh man, I'm actually just scrolling through like the episodes now. Let's see. I think it might just be oh man, I'm struggling.
I've definitely asked a good question then.
I mean, there's a few, to be fair. I mean, there's like episode 7 with Matt Birchley where we spoke about Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
That was a really fun chat that I had with him. Another one was when I actually talked to one of the developers, Sonic Mania, Stealth.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Oh, what was it? Episode... I'll find it. 10. Episode 10.
Okay. Right. I've got a new one to listen to now. That one out.
Yeah, that goes right into his like history with ROM hacking of Sonic and then his Sonic Mania thing.
Yeah, because he worked very closely with Christian Whitehead for a long time, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he spoke a lot about that Sonic Mega Mix that kind of inspired Mania.
Did he also talk about the iOS ports that they did to basically try and get Sega to actually fund a new game?
Yep, I did. I made sure of asking him. Yeah.
Excellent.
So good. So good.
But to be honest, there's such a mix. I mean, even like as recent as like Luke Hill. I mean, he's been helping with the Tomb Raider suite, where it's a live orchestra of the first 3 games.
Yeah.
So we just spoke about a few things there, and it was just great because the thing is, it's like you said. I mean, with the writing and the podcast, you kind of like do some networking without actually going somewhere in a sense.
Yeah,
which is nice because I think especially in this year, the circumstances. I mean, you can't go to events, you can't go to meetups, so it's things like this that kind of really help everyone out, really, and kind of also helps their sanity too. So, yeah,
exactly.
It's been fun.
I have noticed that a lot, that with people doing podcasts, it's about networking and getting people, for mutual benefit. You come on and we'll get you onto ours, and we can help expose each other a bit more. And I do really like that about the industry nowadays, is where in years gone by it used to be a little bit more selective and a little bit more of a cult or a club. Now it's a lot more open because of a lot more freelancers getting involved, like yourself, and us as review writers as well. Even though we're not as big as someone like yourself. But I do really like how the industry has gone over the last couple of years, because you see a lot of people going to events who are willing to talk to people and go and hang out with them. And I just like the way that this industry has evolved, and I think it's really nice when you're able to get people onto your podcasts, especially people like Andy Hamilton, who are absolutely legendary, and they're willing to help you out in a career, that is quite new to you as well.
That's it.
Give you their advice from what they've had to encounter over the last 20 odd years. Yeah,
that's it. I mean, the thing is, I mean, like we're all people. I mean, we're all just doing something that we totally enjoy and love doing. So
Agreed.
It's like because I don't see myself as a big thing here at all. I'm just a guy who just loves to write and write about games, and that's all I see it as, really.
I love that.
But it's like it is nice, the fact that we're all just kind of doing like working towards the same goal, which is just writing about what we enjoy. And I think in this day and age, it's important that we do it, and especially for our mental health as well.
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, I'm going to close this out with one last question, because I know you've got a lot of work still left to do. One of the articles that I saw that you wrote on your portfolio was about Streets of Rage 4.
Yes.
Have you played it yet?
No, not yet, but I'm trying to soon, because I need to play it. I absolutely need to play it.
Oh, man. Did you not go to EGX last year then?
Oh, there's a story there. So,
go on. I need to hear.
So I was all ready and set to go, and I had the tickets ready.
Yeah.
all good. And then, but probably the week before is I finished work. It was in the evening. I was like saying to the partner, should we have like a KFC delivery? It was like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. And what happened was I just sat down and my legs started getting like, like pins and needles that you usually get.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's fine. And then it arrived and I thought I'd just stand up quick and just like run to the door. Yeah. And then what happened is because I was still doing pins and needles, I thought I was fine, but I wasn't. And then my ankle, my foot then went into an L-shaped form, and then I collapsed in pain, and I broke my ankle. So I broke my ankle for getting KFC.
Tell people you broke it while in Egypt exploring tombs. Oh dear. Dear.
So I had to cancel it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so disappointing. You don't have to worry about that. I've done essentially what is the same thing. I broke my ankle by treading on a football.
Oh man.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, that was so dumb at 15 years old. Look, I got out of school for a week. I can't complain.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm just using crutches for about, I think, 7 weeks. So that was a long 7 weeks.
Yeah, like I had the same thing. It was about 6 to 7 weeks on crutches, and then literally as soon as I got signed off by the doctor, one of my friends came round and went, "Let's go out." I went, "Okay, I might still need my crutches. Nah, let's go running down the road like an idiot."
Gosh.
Oh man.
How I didn't re-break it, I have no idea. Yeah, I got the chance to play Streets of Rage 4. If you're a fan of Streets of Rage, like I can imagine you are,
yep,
you're gonna absolutely love it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped.
Yep.
Yeah, really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's going to conclude that section. So thanks, Daryl, for getting involved in that and answering our questions. You may have noticed we didn't have any actual questions. We just wanted to have a chat with you.
Yeah.
That's the way we do things.
Like
the best way?
Yeah.
The best way.
I do. I like it.
Yeah, I find that with interviews, like you can often get yourself bogged down into asking the very bog standard normal questions that everyone hears.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just sit down and have a conversation with them, you can just pick up on things.
Yeah, like how would we have ever found out that you broke your ankle getting a KFC?
Yeah,
that is a good story. To be fair,
well,
I mean, you must have hated it, honestly, though, because X being just around the corner, you're like, I do not want to do this event in crutches. I'm gonna have to cancel.
Yeah, I was so gutted. I tried for a day, like just doing like normal day-to-day stuff, and it just didn't work. So I just cancelled it.
Oh, it's so tough, isn't it? You can like, especially with an event like that, you're on your feet all day, so you're gonna hold yourself up with crutches all day, and you're gonna get tired doing it.
Yeah, because you have lines and stuff. Yeah,
especially if you decided to go and try and play Pokemon Sword and Shield. That was like an hour and a half queue on its own.
Wow, yeah, not a chance.
No. Although, Pete, let me ask you, are we going to regale Daryl with at least the first listener question? Because I think it's directed at him.
Yeah, it is, but we're going to save that one until the last.
Okay.
Because we have got a regular question that comes in from an old friend.
Yes.
Oh, I think I've seen this.
Yep. So, lady_sugarcube on Twitter, also known as Jennifer to us, wants to know, how much do you like Raihan?
I had to Google this. I had no idea. I was.
You could basically say you're blocked now from Twitter. She's
asked this question every week since we had her on talking about Raihan.
I mean, if it helps, I mean, like looking at his picture, trousers, he's showing filth with his trunks, whatever it is he's doing, and a hat that looks like a pumpkin almost. It's just bizarre.
Oh dear. So basically, the answer to the question is not very much.
Indeed, yeah, that's it. Yeah, pretty
much. Okay. Well, my answer still hasn't changed from last week. Not that much.
Oh, that's too funny.
So, has your opinion changed, Kylie?
No, because I still just see Squirtle's breastplate when I look at him. So
Yeah, fair enough.
And Squirtle's my favorite Pokemon, so
Yeah.
But he's a cool guy. He's cool.
Yeah, he does. I mean, on one of our episodes where we had her on, she literally just started sending us gifs constantly of Raihan. So we just stopping and watching these gifs come in. It was like
on an audio thing format.
Yeah. So we now dubbed that episode as Gifapalooza.
Yeah.
Could be like a yearly event.
It should be, really. We'll get her on once a year and we'll just let Gifapalooza just occur.
Yeah, do it, man. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. We'll get you on for next year's Gifapalooza as a special guest.
Yeah, multi-guest event. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We've got to increase the guest count every year.
Absolutely.
Okay. So Jennifer has come back with a question we decided to wait a couple of weeks for because it was aimed at you specifically.
All right.
So she asks, besides spiders, what do you absolutely hate in video games?
Oh, what do I absolutely hate? I think it is the fact that Onimusha 2 isn't on Switch yet. The fact that I can't play all the ported games that have ever been released on the Switch. I can't play Tekken Tag Tournament on the Switch. I can't play, Roscoe McQueen on PlayStation 1. That's a very niche thing, but it's a great game.
Really do.
And I can't play Wario Land on my Switch either yet because I really want to. That's what's annoying me in games right now.
Yeah, I can understand.
I would agree
for sure.
I would agree. We need a Twin Snakes port.
Oh man, don't get me started on that port.
It's a game that nearly ruined Silicon Knights. It was what was it? Braid? What was it? Oh, I can't even remember the name of the game that did ruin them in the end.
Too Human or
Too Human.
Yeah.
Oh god, I feel bad about that because Silicon Knights were great, but
they were.
But that license now rests with Konami and Nintendo, so they could make something happen.
Yeah, I'm thinking more Nintendo now more than me.
Well, Konami, they made a pachinko machine out of Metal Gear Solid 3. I've got no hope for them.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Let's make amazingly high definition, re-rendered cutscenes for Snakey and put it in a pachinko machine. Smart move, Konami.
So what about
Kylie? What about you?
Oh, well, what about me? I was going to ask yours. Mine is quickly respawning enemies, such as in Far Cry 2, when you clear one of those stations that the hostiles have taken over, and then you go drop off whatever you're dropping off, and then you have to go back to your base camp, and you have to drive back through there, and they've all respawned again, and it's just frustrating because it doesn't follow a narrative. Same thing happened in a game I reviewed that I have now forgotten the name of. Oh my gosh, how embarrassing is that? I gave it a very low review, so that should tell you what it is. But same thing. You leave a room and re-enter. We're talking about just turn around, not like a minute has passed, and all the enemies are respawned. That just drives me nuts. If it doesn't have a narrative reason for it,
I mean, they kind of did it in Metal Gear Solid 2 in the plant mission, where certain enemies would respawn, but they actually did sort of make a narrative thing out of it. It was basically just taking another sentry from another part of the plant and putting him there because they needed to cover it.
Yeah, I mean,
really strange.
What did they used to call it in the comic books? They'd call it a no prize if you could insert your own logic into some of the directions that the stories were taking. So they're like, well, you win a no prize. So I found myself, I guess because I've done that with, comic books for so long, in certain games, I'll have my own quote unquote headcanon, and kind of come up with my own narrative. But on Far Cry 2, there was no, because it's not a supernatural type of game. It is a very bad guys versus good guys, and all of a sudden these bad guys respawn in like 30 seconds. It's like, no, guys, no. So, what about you, Pete?
I've kind of already said one of them, which is vicious dogs.
Yes.
That comes back to an old story where I have told Kylie this before off air, but I was bitten on the hand at about 7 years old by a massive Alsatian, and then about a few weeks later got bitten by a German Shepherd. So it was, it definitely did not sit well with me in terms of that. So, and that was around about the time that Resident Evil came out, so that made it even worse. So spiders, snakes, and dogs. Yep, no thanks. I'm never playing that game again. But there are a couple of things really that irritate me about games. I think QTEs is definitely one thing I absolutely cannot stand in terms of games.
Absolutely.
I find it as a cheap replacement for moments of skill.
Yes.
And certain things like years gone by, you could do something that was like really interesting that was done by, just you doing it in the game. You look at like some of the really hard platforming in The Lion King and stuff like that. It's just, you got a sense of satisfaction from doing that, and then now it's replaced by a QTE where it's just let's press a button in the right time, and I just don't get the same satisfaction as I do getting stuck in a particular area and actually having to grind through it and go, oh, all right, I've accomplished something.
I have to agree.
I can't. I'm not going to add any more. I can't think of any off the top of my head if I'm honest, because there's so many things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I think that's going to do it, isn't it?
That wraps us up. This is the point where we start doing a little bit of housekeeping. So I do want to ask Daryl to let us know where we can find him, his website, his podcast, all of it. Where can we find you?
Sorry, you're just breaking up there.
Oh, sorry. We were doing the important bit. Where can we find you?
Oh, okay, great.
I gathered what was going on, so she wants to know where to find you.
Yeah.
Oh, great. No worries. So you can find me usually on Twitter, just at Daryl Baxter. Also darylbaxter.com, where you can see all my previous work, especially the spider piece. And of course, you can find my podcast Power Keys, which is coming back on Friday every fortnight. Hooray. So you can just Google it in your favorite podcast app, and you'll find it straight there. Yeah. So that's it.
Excellent.
Yeah, I was really happy to see that on Spotify because I've now migrated over to there as my regular stats.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah. So, Kylie, do you want to wrap us up with like the usual stuff?
So for our wonderful reviews, if you wish to read them, this week's reviews, you can find us at www.rapidreviewsuk.com. We do have a Twitter for Rapid Reviews, which is at Rapid Reviews UK. But we have a podcast-specific Twitter, which is at RRRadiopod. And then our newest edition, which is our Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/RRRadiopod. Hopefully we'll be doing some streaming this week. Now that my restrictions are gone.
I mean, things are a bit difficult, obviously, with work side of things at the moment, having to work from home. So I am trying to get a few things ready, set up, so that I can do some more streaming.
Absolutely. And then if you want to drop us any comments, questions, whatever outlandish thing is on your mind.
Hate comments, I don't mind.
Yeah, hey. We always like constructive criticism, but you can find us at podcast@rapidreviewsuk.com. And then we also do have a Facebook page called Rapid Reviews UK that I don't know that anyone has ever seen. And Pete, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter because I don't use boomer platforms. And you can find me at Pete Beckett1. So what about you, Kylie?
And I am at Kylie Tagreet on Twitter, where I am currently tweeting about autism and what it's like to accept your newest diagnosis.
Okay. And we mention it every week, but Daryl, I'm quickly asking, do you get the reference in that?
Not at all, no.
That's okay. Most people don't.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's from Futurama.
Yeah, I'm a massive Futurama fan, and yeah, so the brain episode where Fry has to write the story, and it's full of misspellings, and the brain goes, "Big brain am winning again. I am the greatest."
Now I must leave Earth for no reason.
I love it so much. But anyway. That leaves us with one last thing, which is Pete, hit us with that game fact.
Okay. So we all know Guitar Hero,
Yes.
a series that has not been well loved the last few years.
Sadly.
Did you know that Guitar Hero Aerosmith version made more money for Aerosmith than any sale of their previous albums?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Never knew that.
I didn't know that either. That's good marketing.
Wow.
Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. We love it when you do. And thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to give us a listen. Go find Daryl's, all his things. Go track him down and follow and like and subscribe and all those wonderful things. And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.